From the legendary '92 Dream Team to the star-studded 2024 Avengers, we've witnessed a remarkable transformation in international basketball. Welcome to DunkHub, where hoops happen. The journey hasn't always been smooth, and the expectations have often been sky-high. Today, we're going to break down this evolution, examining the triumphs, the challenges, and the changing landscape of global competition. We'll explore how Team USA has adapted over the years and what it means for the future of basketball on the world stage. So buckle up, basketball fans. We're about to take a thrilling ride through the history of American basketball dominance and the hurdles it faces in the modern era. Let's start where it all began, the '92 Dream Team. This wasn't just a basketball team, it was a cultural phenomenon. Picture this: Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley all on the same squad. It was like assembling the Avengers before Marvel even thought of it. These guys weren't just winning games, they were rewriting the record books. With an average victory margin of 43.8 points. They weren't just beating teams, they were demolishing them. But here's the kicker, it wasn't just about the scores. The Dream Team sparked a global basketball revolution. They showed the world what basketball could be at its highest level. Kids from Barcelona to Beijing were suddenly dreaming of crossovers and slam dunks. The '92 Dream Team didn't just win a gold medal, they changed the game forever. The impact of the '92 Dream Team can't be overstated. These guys set a standard so high it was practically in orbit. Think about this, throughout the entire Olympic tournament, they never once called a timeout. Not once. That's not just confidence, that's absolute dominance. They weren't just meeting expectations, they were shattering them. Every game was a masterclass in basketball excellence, but here's the thing, with great success comes great pressure. The Dream Team became the yardstick against which all future USA teams would be measured. It was a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it inspired future generations to reach for greatness. On the other, it set an almost impossible standard. From that point on, winning wasn't enough for Team USA. They had to win big, and they had to do it with style. The Dream Team's legacy was a double-edged sword that would shape USA basketball for decades to come. Now let's talk about how the rest of the world caught up. In '92, the gap between USA and international basketball was Grand Canyon wide. Fast forward to today, and that gap has narrowed significantly. How? Well, for starters, the NBA went global. We're not just talking about fans watching games overseas, we're talking about a flood of international talent into the league. Guys like Dirk Nowitzki, Manu Ginobili, and Yao Ming showed that basketball excellence wasn't exclusive to the USA. This influx of talent had a ripple effect. Basketball programs around the world stepped up their game. They had to if they wanted to compete. Suddenly, Team USA wasn't just facing a bunch of amateurs. They were up against seasoned pros who knew their way around an NBA court. The playing field was leveling out and fast. This evolution meant that Team USA couldn't rest on its laurels. The world was catching up, and the Americans needed to adapt or risk losing their basketball crown. Fast forward to 2008, and we've got the Redeem Team. This squad was on a mission. After a disappointing bronze in 2004, USA Basketball needed a win, and boy did they deliver. Led by the likes of Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Dwyane Wade, this team was out for blood. But here's the thing, they didn't have it easy. The competition had stepped up big time. Take the Spanish team, for instance. Pau Gasol, Ricky Rubio, and company gave the USA a run for their money. The gold medal game was a nail-biter, with Team USA winning by just 11 points. It was a far cry from the 40-point blowouts of '92, but in many ways, this close victory was even more impressive. It showed that Team USA could adapt, could face serious competition, and still come out on top. The Redeem Team lived up to its name, restoring USA's basketball supremacy, but it also signaled a new era, one where global competition was fiercer than ever before. Now let's jump to the present, the 2024 USA Avengers. On paper, this team is a basketball fan's dream come true. We're talking LeBron James still dominating at 39, Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter in NBA history, Joel Embiid, a 7-foot unicorn who can do it all. The list goes on. This squad isn't just star-studded, it's a full-blown basketball galaxy. The nickname Avengers isn't just cute, it's apt. Each of these players is a superhero in their own right. Put them together and you've got a team that looks unbeatable. At least that's how it looks on paper. The expectations for this team are through the roof. Fans and pundits alike are predicting not just gold, but historic dominance. But as we've learned from the past, basketball isn't played on paper, and in the world of international basketball, expectations can be a dangerous thing. The hype surrounding the 2024 team is off the charts. Media outlets are falling over themselves to praise this squad. You've got analysts comparing them to the original Dream Team, saying they'll dominate like it's '92 all over again. Some are even boldly predicting undefeated runs with 30-point victory margins. It's like they've forgotten the lessons of the past 2 decades. You've got quotes flying around like, this is the best collection of talent in Team USA history, and this team is unbeatable. The expectations aren't just high, they're stratospheric. It's like everyone's caught up in a fever dream of American basketball supremacy. But here's the thing, hype is a double-edged sword. It can fuel a team to greatness, sure, but it can also set them up for a mighty fall, and in the pressure cooker of Olympic competition, that fall could be painful indeed. Now let's talk about what happened when the rubber met the road, the exhibition games. It's been a wake-up call to say the least. Against Australia, a Team USA was expected to handily beat. They only won by 6. It was a nail-biter down to the last few minutes. Then came the game against South Sudan, where Team USA found themselves down by 14 at halftime. Let that sink in for a moment. The mighty USA trailing by double digits to South Sudan at the half. And let's not forget the Germany game where they were down by 5 in the fourth quarter. Now, credit where it's due. Team USA pulled out wins in all these games, but if you watch them, you couldn't help but feel a twinge of concern. This wasn't the dominant force we were promised. Instead, we saw a team struggling with chemistry issues, playing too much iso ball, and looking surprisingly vulnerable on defense. It's a stark reminder that in basketball, talent alone isn't enough. You need cohesion, strategy, and sometimes a little bit of luck. Let's zoom in on that South Sudan game because it's a perfect microcosm of the challenges facing this Team USA. Here's a sobering fact. Team USA entered this game as 43-point favorites. That's not just expected to win, that's expected to absolutely demolish the opposition. Instead, what we got was a nail-biter that came down to the final seconds. At halftime, USA was down by 14 points. Let that sink in. The team with LeBron, Curry, and Embiid was trailing by double digits to a team whose best players are bench warmers in the NBA. Now, full credit to South Sudan, they played their hearts out, but for Team USA, this should have been a walk in the park. Instead, it was a struggle to the bitter end, with LeBron having to pull out a game winner to secure a 1-point victory. 1 point against South Sudan. If this doesn't set off alarm bells for USA basketball, I don't know what will. It's a glaring reminder that in today's international basketball landscape, there are no easy games. And for Team USA, living up to the hype is going to be harder than anyone imagined. In the midst of all this uncertainty, there's been one constant: LeBron James. At 39 years old, he's still the guy you want with the ball when the game is on the line. Just look at that game winner against South Sudan. But it's not just the clutch plays, it's his overall impact. In that same game, he put up 23 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds on 70% shooting. Those are numbers you'd expect from LeBron in his prime, not at 39. It's a testament to his incredible longevity and adaptability. But here's where it gets interesting. Before the game, Joel Embiid made some comments about LeBron not being the same player he was a few years ago. Well, LeBron's performance was a not-so-subtle rebuttal to that. It's like he took those words, crumpled them up, and dunked them through the hoop. LeBron's showing that even as the team around him struggles to find its footing, he's still capable of putting the team on his back when it matters most. In a way, he's become the bridge between the dominant teams of the past and this new, still gelling iteration of Team USA. While the stars get all the headlines, it's becoming increasingly clear that Team USA's success may hinge on its role players. Take Jrue Holiday, for instance. In that South Sudan game, when the team was down by 8 late in the third, it was Holiday who turned the tide. His full-court press defense, his timely steals, his ability to push the pace. These were game-changing plays. And let's not forget Derek White. Remember when Jaylen Brown was shocked that White made the team over him? Well, White showed exactly why he's here with that crucial block in the final seconds against South Sudan. These guys might not have the star power of LeBron or Curry, but their impact is undeniable. They're the glue that holds the team together, the guys who do the dirty work that doesn't always show up in the box score. In today's international game, where the margin for error is razor thin, these role players could be the difference between gold and a disappointing early exit. It's a reminder that building a team isn't just about assembling the biggest names, it's about finding the right pieces that fit together. The struggles of this Team USA squad are a stark reminder of the challenges inherent in assembling super teams. We've seen this story play out in the NBA time and time again. Remember the Brooklyn Nets with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving? On paper, they looked unbeatable. In reality, they never made it past the second round of the playoffs. Or how about the Lakers with LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook? Another team that looked great in theory but struggled on the court. The lesson here is clear: basketball isn't played on paper. You can't just throw a bunch of superstars together and expect instant success. There are so many factors at play: chemistry, roles, playing styles, egos. It takes time for players to learn how to play together, to figure out who's going to sacrifice what for the greater good of the team. And in the pressure cooker of Olympic competition with limited practice time, these challenges are amplified. It's a sobering reminder that in basketball, the whole needs to be greater than the sum of its parts. And right now, Team USA is still trying to solve that equation. The media's role in all of this can't be overstated. There's a tendency in basketball coverage, especially when it comes to Team USA, to get caught up in hyperbole. Everything has to be the greatest ever or the most dominant. We saw it with the pre-tournament coverage of this team. Analysts were falling over themselves to crown them as the new dream team before they'd even played a game together. But here's the thing, this kind of narrative sets impossible expectations, it puts immense pressure on the players, and sets fans up for disappointment if the team doesn't live up to the hype. There's also a tendency to make cross-era comparisons, which are often apples to oranges. The game has changed so much since '92 that comparing this team to the original Dream Team is largely pointless. And let's not forget the dangers of relying solely on star power for predictions. As we've seen, having the biggest names doesn't guarantee success. The media needs to find a balance between excitement and realism, between appreciating star power and understanding the complexities of team basketball. Until then, these inflated narratives will continue to create a distorted view of what success looks like for Team USA. So, what can we take away from all this? First and foremost, we need to recalibrate our expectations. The days of 40-point blowouts in international competition are largely behind us. The world is caught up, and that's a good thing for basketball as a whole. Secondly, we need to appreciate the delicate balance between individual talent and team cohesion. Yes, Team USA has incredible players, but success will come from how well they play together, not just how good they are individually. Third, we've learned that basketball is inherently unpredictable. No matter how big the talent gap may seem, there are no guaranteed wins. South Sudan proved that. Lastly, we've seen the importance of adaptability. The teams that succeed aren't necessarily the most talented, but the ones that can adjust to different styles of play, overcome adversity, and find ways to win even when things aren't going their way. These lessons aren't just applicable to Team USA, they're valuable insights for any basketball team at any level. The game is evolving, and success goes to those who can evolve with it. As we wrap up our journey from the '92 Dream Team to the 2024 Avengers, one thing is clear: the landscape of international basketball has undergone a seismic shift. We've seen the game grow from American dominance to global competitiveness. We've witnessed the rise of international superstars and the narrowing of the talent gap. The challenges facing Team USA today are vastly different from those of 30 years ago, yet the goal remains the same: Olympic gold. As we look to the future, it's clear that USA basketball is at a crossroads. The path to success is no longer paved with star power alone. It will require strategy, adaptability, and a new understanding of what it means to be the best in the world. Will Team USA rise to the challenge? Only time will tell, but one thing's for certain: the journey will be fascinating to watch. As basketball fans, we're in for a treat. The game we love is more competitive, more global, and more exciting than ever before. So here's to the future of international basketball. May it be as thrilling and unpredictable as the game itself. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and subscribe for more basketball content. And that's a wrap from DunkHub. Catch you in a few days. Stay ballin'!